Hello, and welcome to content? Maybe, possibly. I am mostly doing this as a self-improvement project, which I have reason to record, but I am stuck with a built-in laptop microphone, which I'm sure sounds terrible, but in case I'm wrong, might upload this. I don't know, why not? Anyway, let's get right to it. WPF Season 7 A Division. Here's the team. We are not gonna do a draft analysis video. During the drafting, I was going for like 4 different plans, maybe 5, and none of them ended up being this final team because people dropped interesting things in the grace period that I wanted, so I don't want to talk through my drafting with plans that didn't end up being realized and then talking about adaptation. That just sounds like a headache. So let's get right to it. Week 1 against Ampha. First of all, I don't fear their offense though. This is a very good matchup for me. Their offense is primarily Sam, DNC, Ments, and talk about things that don't like especially defensively powered on. Like it's good offense, but they really have the matchup here. Sam has to try to fit Life Orb Energy Ball or some nasty plot stuff, and they also have a Mew to check that. DNC basically has to be Calm Mind, but when does it Calm Mind on my team? When is it safe from Scissor, Lycanroc, Ninja priority? Mens, do you expect Life Orb Hydro in this matchup? I don't. I didn't. I could take anything that's less than Life Orb, like raw Hydros from Bootsmans. I can take that, but I do still have a Mew for that. The main threats in this matchup honestly were Nidoqueen Corviknight. Nidoqueen because no one likes checking an offensive Nido, but if you look at their headset control, this is a team that really wants supporting Nido more than offensive. It can be offensive. I did prep for offensive. It was annoying, but bets are on defensive. Corviknight. Whenever you fight a Corviknight, it's always a question of what is or isn't useless against this thing. That's why I was very sad I couldn't fit Lycanroc. Because if you look at the rock resists, that's not a lot. It's Nido, which has to guess whether Lycanroc is going to be Drill Run or Psychic Fangs, so it can't just slap a berry on that and call it a day. And Pangoro, which this team has so many good high tiers and mid tiers, they are not gonna bring Pangoro a lot. I thought about Scarf Pangoro, but against this team I just didn't see it. So Lycanroc unfortunately doesn't get to come because of the Corviknight. If they're max physical defense with leftovers, I have to be like Bandit, Tough Claws, Fire Fang with Rocks up to have a chance to do a kill it. So it's a shame I didn't get to bring Lycanroc because it's really good against everything else, especially the priority, and it was my best DD Mens check aside from Raw Bulk. Not too bad. The other hole in their team that they did get to exploit is, hey, check out these dark checks. It's again Pangoro, which isn't gonna come. It could have. I know it. And a DNC. Are you gonna switch a DNC interban? This dual stab just covers a lot, and just the dark stab covers a lot of this team, and we can see the team right here. A lot was put into Dreadplate, Dark Pulse, Greninja. That just covered a lot. I thought about Specs, but Specs still fails to do a kill Corviknight if it's specially defensive. And I want to be free to click whatever move whenever, sweep late game, have momentum kept alive with U-turn, that kind of stuff. I only needed Gren and Sock for offense here because looking at their team, Close Combat, Knockoff, Bandit, it just does numbers to them. Sam drops to Bandit Close Combat, Mens is not taking 2 because I'm inner focus so he can't intimidate me. Orbital, Jellicent are 2-hit killed through Culver if rocks are up. Well, Orbital just is 2-hit killed. Jellicent, rocks would probably be valid. Orbital could just be boots instead, I don't know. And that's about it for their reasonable checks. Like, Nidoqueen has to be super defensive to take 2 Bandit close combats. So it's weird that my game plan for week 1 was spam momentum into Sock, but the week 1 game plan is spam momentum into Sock. So, these two are pretty obvious. I put Pain Split here mostly as a joke. I had Facade, but these 2 buttons just cover everything. Moltres, it's kind of like an anti-wall and a desperation measure against Corviknight in case it is somehow set up. 156 special attack, Flamethrower will always 2-hit kill leftovers max special defense Corviknight. And that's the main thing. It can Toxic the Jellicent and the Licky Licky, and it can pivot around. Good stuff. Now, Mew looks like a pretty generic set, just knock momentum recovery rocks, and it kind of is, but it's really good in this matchup. I tend to think that people overvalue knockoff, but it was really important in this matchup for Hippo primarily. First of all, special offense like Orb Nido can Ice Beam to hit kill Hippo. That's the problem. That's the one thing that Hippo can't really deal with on his team, aside from Rotom, of course. So I thought, okay, knock off Volt Switch and no other attacks. This is a Mew that was really easy to switch Nidoqueen into it, and then I knock it off. And then the Life Orb is gone, and then Hippo wants it. Lovely. Also, I wanted to knock off the Corviknight really badly. If I can remove leftovers from it, Hippo has a good chance to 1v1 it. Fire Fang is, 24 uses. On pressure, that's 12 uses. 10% chance to burn. If I roll that 12 times, there's like a 20-25% chance they don't end up burned. But more importantly, it's okay, Chip. Max physically defensive Corviknight, it takes like 20 to 25, and then I get to threaten them with Earthquake. Do they really want to roost with their Steel type on a Hippo? If they do, I do minimum 42 to absolutely max Corviknight, I believe. And if I get the burn, that's approaching comfortable 2-hit kill range. If it's not leftovers. That's why I wanted to knock the Corviknight really badly. There were also some other cogs of knocking some stuff off so Huckleberry Scissor can lift stuff. But that wasn't all that important. Scissor was mostly here for just momentum, defog, and something to put in front of Corviknight and Rotom mode. So the team really isn't that complex. Basically, they don't have grand checks and they don't have ways to kill people if I knock off stuff. So that's all that needs to be said. Oh yeah, and Mew is Boots simply because some hits could have killed it if it's leftovers and rocks are up, but they fail if Boots, so Boots. Anyway, that's that. Let's get to the game.